Hello, thank you for joining us. This is Matthias76 with Decoding the Deception, and this is a Decoding the Headlines broadcast. What we want to look at today is something that caught my attention. Saw this on the Drudge Report, clicked on it. I just couldn't help myself. It is from Grabby News. Don't know who they are, but it's about Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez and something that she said. And I think it's very important that we pay attention. Now, it's very easy for someone with a reasonable mind, and I assume if you're listening to me, you have a reasonable mind, to think that these things that this newly elected Congresswoman says are just a bunch of non sequitur gibberish. And it seems that way, but that's because you have a reasonable mind. It is not non sequitur gibberish to them. This is the main quote from this story. It's right here at the top. It's inevitable that we can use the transition to 100% renewable energy as the vehicle to truly deliver and establish economic, social, and racial justice in the United States of America. Stop and think about that. And quit thinking of it as being it's nonsense because it comes from her. And I know that we can have a whole lot of fun with her. We have. Here is something that I found I will share with you. You know, the memes that come out about this woman, they always make me think, good memes make me think, I wish I was that clever and that I thought this up. But this is just classic. The puzzle box said 5 to 7 years, but I finished it in 2 weeks. Kind of, it's sad, but it's oh so funny. But it is not idiotic nonsense to them. If you take the time, and I encourage you to do so, if you take the time to read Agenda 2030 from the UN or Agenda 21, 2030 is simply the updated version. They talk about ruling the world, managing the resources, etc., in the same way that she is speaking here. This is right from Agenda 2030 political think. And I'm going to read this quote again. Think about what it's saying. It's inevitable that we can use the transition to 100% renewable energy. In other words, shut down all fossil fuels, everything in the world today as we know it. We can use that as the vehicle to truly deliver and establish economic, social, and racial justice in the United States of America. Think that through. To them, all of these things are connected because it's about everything, every single thing falling under their complete dictatorial, totalitarian control and running the world as they see fit. The next topic that I want to talk about here today, talked about yesterday, it is the stock market crash and burn that is going on. And it's bad news what's going on in the market. This is from a couple hours ago when I clipped this. Don't know exactly where the market is now, but this is the important thing to pay attention to. A number of things. First of all, we had an 800-point drop, 3.1% on the Dow Jones Industrial Average. And we had a day off forced upon the markets because of the funeral for George H.W. Bush. The market had a day to cool down, to think things over, to let cooler heads prevail. And what prevailed, what happened, was this. The market opened up and it tanked again. Now, this chart that I pulled up here is the S&P 500, not the Dow Jones Industrial Average. And again, Dow Jones Industrial Average is always the index that they refer to. It is only 30 stocks. The S&P 500 is comprised of 500 stocks, so it's a much broader index. But here's the big news and the big thing, if you have money invested, which is everyone, we're at the point of the death cross. We're right at that point. And what the death cross is, it sounds scary, and it's supposed to, but it is a turn in the market where the 50-day moving average, which is shown here in that little purple line, the blue is the market index itself, and this is a 6-month snapshot here. The purple is the 50-day moving average. So you see it moves in general with the market, but it's the 50-day average. So it's starting to come down. The gold, this gold is the 200-day moving average. The death cross is when the 50-day moving average crosses the 200-day moving average. That's when things get serious. That is when it goes from a minor downturn to a major downturn. So we need to keep an eye on it to see where that is going to go. The fact that the market had a day breather and decided to go right back to what it was doing before is disconcerting. Another things to look at in this, just general information, look at the volume behind the movement up and down. And here's a big one. Toward the end of the day, is the market selling into the close? Is the market going down, down, down toward the very end of the day? That's not a good sign for long term. The mindset of the market, and then especially tomorrow, what does the market do? Is it selling into Friday and selling into the close on Friday, just carrying that negative momentum? Or is the market deciding to fight it off and try to at least hold par? That's an important thing to look at and think about as well. The other thing that I want to look at here in connection with this, it's important to understand this for what it is. We're looking at trends. We're looking at indicators. We're trying to look at the big picture to get a feel for what's going on. And that put me in mind of this. It often appears on the videos that we do here at Decoding the Deception. We refer to ourselves as Lesson of the Fig Tree Productions. That's not the important part. The important thing is our Lord talking to us in Mark 13, 28 and 29. He says, "Now learn this lesson from the fig tree. As soon as its leaves come out, you know that summer is near. Even so, when you see these things happening, you know that it is near, right at the door." What Jesus is speaking about in this context, it's Mark 13. There are only 16 chapters in Mark. He's talking about the end of the world. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that these market indicators have something to do with the end of the world. But because we look at those indicators and think about them and say, oh, what does this tell me about what's coming? It put me in mind of this verse, because we constantly need to be looking at our world where there are powers that be or shouldn't be who are burning up California, who are sending man-made generated storms to wipe out their own people, who are doing so many things on so many levels every day. I think that we are remiss if we do not see these things as indicators, not market indicators, but spiritual indicators of what's going on in the world, the movements that are afoot about human sexuality, the destruction of the family as the unit that it should be, the building block of society that it should be, the complete moral abyss that is the entertainment industry, to which so many of us, I hope not, but do, subject themselves to on a regular basis. These indicators should tell us, just like the fig leaves do, where we are in this season of the world's history. Well, thank you so much for joining us. I encourage you, leave a comment down below. We love to hear what you think. Your thoughts means a lot to us. Also, would love to have you visit our website. The link is on the screen at the end. Got all kinds of information out there for you, all our videos, but also a lot of materials for research for you. Love to have you come and visit. Leave a comment, subscribe. Would love to have you follow along. God bless, and have a great day. That concludes our broadcast for today. Please leave your comments below. We love to hear from you. Your feedback is very important to us. There is a link on the screen with our website address. We invite you to check it out. Links to support our work are in the description below. Your support is what keeps us going. This is Matthias 76. Together, we are Decoding the Deception.